Ladies and gents, welcome to a late night session of Apex Investor. We don't usually do these. Reason why is because by the time I get up in the morning, the stock market will have started, and I don't want to do a video when the stock market is going on. It's too wild, it's too crazy. I'm not about that. I want to do videos when everything's settled down. There's no price action. I could talk about it and not have to worry about it doing this and that. Doing a roller coaster. I don't want to see that as I'm doing a live stream. As I'm doing a recording, I don't like that. Volatility, it drives me crazy. I'm not about that. We're long-term investors, or I am a long-term investor. I don't want to be all erratic on a video. So I'm going to keep it nice and calm, nice and relaxed and soothing. Alright, so I'm going to read some DD that was posted on StockTwits. This was actually on Friday, and I'm going to catch up to today, where we saw quite a tear with Richtech. So this video, but for all intents and purposes, is a Richtech video. I'm going to do other videos on other stocks, but this is the focus of this one. So let's hit the highlights of this this DD that was found here. It says here, regarding their balance sheet, remains lean and healthy with cash and equivalents of at least 9.2 million, total assets 13.5, shareholder equity 9.1. Okay, is that relaxed enough? Remaining notes payable of 2.5 million. Depending on timing of deployments and revenue recognition, RR should continue to have at least several quarters of cash runway on top of existing sources of equity it can tap into to effectively manage inventory based on customer needs. And the highlight for the next part here. So we can see there's a good revenue coming in. They've had revenue in the past, and it looks like it's going to continue for the unforeseen future. The revenue run rate is assumed to be 14 to 15 million. It will be achieved by calendar year, hopefully. But this is interesting, this part here. In terms of their fiscal 2024 and 2025 revenue estimates. Now, I made my own estimate. I said something like 19 million, thereabouts, once everything's said and done regarding their Walmart, ghost kitchens, 200 something restaurants. I think it's 240 to be exact. So I estimated 19.2 million, something around that number. But look at this estimate. It's 10.1 million for 2024. And we still have got how many months left? 4 months, roughly. 2025, their estimate is 35.1 million. I don't know if that's a conservative estimate. I'm going to say probably not. But if we're going to be conservative with those numbers, let's just say 5 million and 17 million. By those numbers, that's still great. That's still better than Serve Robotics. And I'm not trying to put down Serve Robotics. I'm just comparing these two similar companies. And so they're saying as well that there's like a steady stream of income coming in. Income coming in. I don't want to get into speculation. There's a lot of speculation in this paper talking about possibilities of getting to restaurants, hotels, hospitals, what have you. We really don't know. All we have in reality is the 240 plus Walmarts across 37 US states. So that's all we have for that. Okay, I'm going to go to the next thing. Okay, finally, this one is worth saving or mentioning. From Lieutenant Stocks. Tends to be a very good contributor anyway. He contributes a lot of useful information. And I believe he's the same person that I saw on Yahoo Finance, as goes by the name Helix, I believe. Anyway, let me try to read this out. Serve's recent revenue was 400K. Richtech's increased by 300K since the last quarter. Richtech's revenue is 1.48 million per quarter. What does this mean? Richtech's revenue gain last quarter was almost Serve's entire revenue. What, for the year? Is that for the year? I'm not sure. Serve has incredibly high debt, almost 10 times Richtech's debt. Okay, that's a good point. Why on earth is a sidewalk robot that's dodging people? I can't say that word, I might get banned. M-Heads delivering Shake Shack on Uber Eats valued at anything above $2. Okay. Next post. Okay, this one is kind of... I'm just going to share that. Look at this. Gotta mention. So this is circular. I post it, and then they mention me, and then I post it back to them. We're just playing a game of tennis. So thank you very much for that mention. Appreciate that. I think it's getting the word out. I don't really care about the... Not that I don't care about this channel, but my goal isn't to, gain all these subscribers and gain money from this channel. My goal is to help people. So if that helped people in terms of Richtech and help Richtech, then all the better. Let's move on. Okay, so we're going to look at the price action from earlier today, or yesterday, technically. And a 20% a day for Richtech. Now it's been, if you're counting how many days in a row now, with a good result, that's 3 days in a row. So something is happening, and what that something is, I think that's the short sellers are being exposed. They have to cover their positions. So this level of 30 cents at one point, 33, 37, 40, everything below 50 cents, we're not going to see that anymore, not for a long time anyway. I don't think we're going back to that. That is... that ship has sailed, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to get into this stock, you ain't going to get it for 50 cents or less. You're going to have to put up some money. You're going to have to put up at least, I'm going to say, what's real support here? Well, looking at the volume, it's probably 56 to 74. And then we have another surge of volume at 80. So you're probably looking at 56 to 80. It's just establishing new bases of support. So this is the original bases here, then a new base. Now it's forming a new base, and then it looks like a new base is forming there. I mean, it could be shorted. Anything's possible. Shorted again, but the way that things are looking, the way things are trending, that's not very likely. That's not very likely. What is more likely, to me anyway, is that it's going to go up to at least $1. It's going to break the dollar later in the week. The dollar price point, or price ceiling. And I see it being meeting resistance at 150, because that's where it was for the longest time in the last 6-7 months. Just couldn't break $2, so it might hit $1.50. Depends where the shorts can just turn off the valve and halt trading. I don't know, just use their schemes. They're gonna do something very suspicious, and I feel like $2 might be the ceiling for the short to midterm. But what would really put a monkey in the wrench, or wrench in their monkey, I don't know how the saying goes, but what would really put a wrench in their plans is the surge of volume that we've been seeing the last 3 days. Let's just look at the volume today, 20 million, an average of 9 million. So the average is going up as well. The market cap is going up as well. But if we can keep getting, or Richtech, I should say, not me, I'm not the one getting the money, but if Richtech can keep getting the surge of volume daily for the next, let's say, week or two or month, I don't know how long it can last, but it seems like the people who were going crazy about Serve Robotics are switching teams, and they're going to Richtech. So if they can keep up that volume and have millions and millions more people buying into the stock at this, even at these numbers, it's not an astronomical number. It's not like GameStop with their 200 million plus 500 million, or NAMC as well. It's not like the meme stocks. This is still under the radar at 20 million. So when more and more people, I think you're going to see a huge surge of volume once it hits $1. Because when I was looking at the trending stocks on Yahoo Finance as to what's popular today, I just looked on the app. Richtech was not on the list. It was essentially shadow banned. Like, I'll look it up right now in my search. Let's look at the list. I'm gonna show you the list. Do you see Richtech there? Do you see Richtech? I'm gonna read them out. Pan W, AMD, Hollow, up 42%. Nvidia, 4%. VKTX, 17%. ASTS, 24%. Sophie, RDFN, ASTS, X, DJT, UPST, MAXN, XRP, that's the cryptocurrency, MLGO, LUNR. And you know what the funny thing is? Richtech was up 20% and it didn't even get a mention. wasn't popular today, which is surprising. I think it is being shadow banned in some shape or form. So I did post in Yahoo Finance in the comments, and I said that there are 3 ceilings that must be broken. They can only be broken with high volume, and if people just hold and don't sell, retail investors. So what are the ceilings? Well, respectively, they are the following: $2, right? $2 right there. And then $5, which was the initial IPO offering. And this ceiling right here, $11, $12, because the 52-week range is $12.29, so roughly $12. So that's where it's going. If the volume's coming in, people aren't selling, it will break $2 just on the volume alone and people not selling. Just patience alone and volume, well, okay, not alone, but those two things together, volume and patience, will force these short sellers to have to cover their positions up to $2, and then the next one would be $5. So if we're all patient and we're just going to hold on, and because we know what it's worth, at least $2, and then the next level at least $5 if you're not going to sell it too, this will eventually get back up to 12, and when it breaks 12, then the flood chambers will, the levee will break, and it's going to end up showing serve-like numbers, which when we saw serve, I think it went up to 20 at one point, if I'm not mistaken. Or we might have a sweet green situation, which I'm going to talk about that stock in the next video, just looking at the general stock market. So $30, it went up to 30 at one point. But was that during the craze? No, it actually went up to 20. So it could go up to 20 if it breaks. Anything's possible. It could go to any number, really. We really don't know until it gets there. But looking at the historical chart, this gives us the best indication of what reality would be. But once it breaks 11, 12, anything's possible. There's so many possibilities. Anything's on the table, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so that's all for this video. I think that's all the DD I'll do for now, but it's looking really good for Richtech. Maybe I'll just go to stock to it just for a moment, and if there's anything, I'll come back. Okay, 2 more things to mention. So this post by Lieutenant Stonks yesterday, it says, think of all those sci-fi movies where you've seen those robot bartenders, the robot servers in restaurants. Star Wars, essentially robots cleaning floors casually, robots delivering food, drinks, items to people, Robots moving heavy payloads in warehouses. Richtech Robotics is all that and much more. It's positioned to be the leading warehouse, retail, hospitality, office, hospital robotics company with its ever-expanding growth and ever-improving robotics. We are in the early days of a growing multi-billion-dollar corporation. I'm going to agree and disagree. We are in the early days of a growing multi-billion-dollar industry. I don't think Richtech is the one leading that charge. I'm not saying they are or aren't. We don't know until the dust settles. We have a bunch of companies who are doing that, that are spearheading AI and robotics, well, robotics specifically, and that's, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I think Sweetgreen is leading that. We're going to talk about Sweetgreen in a separate video. And then we have Serve Robotics, and then obviously Richtech. So when the dust settles, who will be the leader? We'll have to find out, not in the next year, not in the next 2 years. I think it's going to take at least 5 years to 10 years, and then you'll see a clear leader in the industry. You know, like the console wars of when it comes to video games, you saw Nintendo and Sega, you saw Sony and Microsoft battling each other for the #1 position, and even Nintendo got into the mix in the 2000s as well, and they eventually they took back the lead from Sony. So we have to see who will take the lead in robotics. Is it going to be Sweetgreen? Will it be Richtech? Will it be Serve Robotics? Or will something happen where one company buys them all up? Maybe Apple acquires them all. I don't know. Who really knows? Or maybe Sweetgreen buys out their competitors. Maybe Sweetgreen buys out Richtech and Serve. Or maybe it'll be a 2-horse race, and you'll have Sweetgreen on one side, and then you have Serve Robotics and Richtech merging. Who knows? I mean, we really don't know what the future holds. But one thing I can say is that as much as AI was like the darling of the stock market at one point with Nvidia and Broadcom and so on, and that hasn't gone away, but the spotlight is clearly shifting somewhat, or maybe growing to also include robotics, and this is becoming a very hot industry, and well, it's really in its infancy. So let's wait and see what will happen in the next coming days and weeks and months ahead. But this week especially is really exciting for Richtech Robotics. So I think that's all for this video. We'll do another one on the general stock market. So thank you for your time. Until next time, God bless you. God bless your investments.